Comics have infiltrated almost every facet of our entertainment lives today, from TV shows to movies, games, and more. It seems like we can't go a single day without bumping into some interpretation of some comic that was originally just some ink on paper, but sometimes those interpretations get it wrong. Whether a director went mad, an actor demanded too much, the technology wasn't there, or it's a complete mystery, here are 10 superheroes and villains who look nothing like the comics. Wolverine. We all know Wolverine as the ass-kicking, zero-Fs-given, adamantium-infused member of the X-Men, but far from the blue and yellow suit that the X-Men donned in the pre-Hollywood lives, a new Hugh Jackman, steroid-infused Wolverine is an actual improvement over the original. Why superheroes thought it appropriate to wear underwear outside of their spandex and top it all off with a belt, we may never know. But in this case, we are glad that we have time on our side, because Hugh Jackman wearing those super underoos isn't something any of us want to see. Or is it? Bullseye. Known as the archenemy of Daredevil, this legendary badass has been known to take on the Blind Warrior with absolutely no superpowers, except for his impeccable aim. And while he donned a mask and obligatory tights in the comic book world, Colin Farrell would have none of that in the live-action movie, instead opting to carve the bullseye into his forehead, rock a trench coat, and send some slightly psychotic and creepy vibes. But whether he's in tights or a trench coat, Bullseye is so badass that he was listed as number 20 on the top 100 comic villain, all while not having any super abilities to back him up. Red Skull. The character usually depicted as the arch enemy of superhero Captain America started as a Nazi agent and first appeared in Captain America Comics number 7. Due to his great diabolical plans of world domination and genocide, IGN ranks Red Skull as the 14th greatest comic book villain of all time. While generally terrifying in the comics, Red Skull was the victim of poor makeup and low budget in 1990, when Scott Paullin portrayed him in the Captain America film. In what best can be described as a lumpy red clay face, Paulin's performance goes down in history as one of the worst attempts to make a comic book look come to life. Green Goblin. Comic historian Mike Conroy says of the Green Goblin, "Of all the costume villains who've plagued Spider-Man over the years, the most flat-out, unhinged, and terrifying of them all is the Green Goblin." The Green Goblin debuted in The Amazing Spider-Man number 14 and was so popular that he made quite a few comebacks over the years. But his least faithful interpretation is the one that we all know best, and that is the unforgettable portrayal by Willem Dafoe. It wasn't Dafoe's acting that was the problem, it was the cheap plastic mask that allowed for no real emotion to be portrayed that veered so far from the comic book origins. The diversion from the comics wouldn't end with Norman Osborn's death at the end of the movie, but instead was picked up again in the third Spider-Man movie by his son, who donned the mask to fight Spidey. The Riddler. While the Riddle takes absolute delight in fitting riddles and puzzles as clues into his criminal plans as one of Batman's most enduring enemies, the one riddle we couldn't solve is why Jim Carrey couldn't be a little more true to the comic book character and a little less true to his Ace Ventura style of acting. In a movie that has been judged as one of the worst in the long history of the Batman movies, Carrey's performance fits the rest of the movie, but missed the mark by going way overboard with flashiness, ridiculous costumes, and silly catchphrases. It was a noble attempt to do something different after the Keaton-era Batman was laid to rest, but it was definitely nothing like you find in the comics. Batman. Speaking of Batman, perhaps the most well-known Batman of all time was also the least accurate Batman of all time. Before the days of human growth hormones, ridiculous workout regimens, armored suits, and special effects, there was a bing, a pow, and a zoof every time Adam West took the bad guy down. This version of Batman is almost universally loved for its ridiculous and lighthearted approach to crime fighting, but true to the comics, it is not. Lex Luthor. Lex is one of the most intelligent people in the DC world. He's also a power-mad billionaire, business magnate, inventor, philanthropist to the city of Metropolis, and arch-enemy of Superman. A charismatic and well-known public figure, he is intent on ridding the world of our beloved alien superhero, who Lex views as an obstacle to his maniacal plans and a threat to the entire human race. One of the most notable attributes is that big, bald, beautiful head of his, and in the movie Superman 2, it was almost completely ignored. Back in those days of Christopher Reeves playing Superman, there was one major faux pas in the entire series, Lex Luthor not being bald. Apparently, Gene Hackman refused to shave his head and even had to be tricked into shaving off his mustache. I mean, sure, Gene Hackman is a badass, but with that hair on top, nobody was thinking Lex Luthor. We were all thinking Gene Hackman, and what a hack it was. The Octopus. When The Spirit came out in 2004, there were high hopes. A comic book adaptation from the creator of Sin City and 300? Wow! Unfortunately, this adaptation failed to capture the imagination of audiences and Spirit fans alike. See, the main villain, the Octopus, is the archenemy of the Spirit. He's a criminal mastermind and a master of disguise who never shows his real face, though he is identified by his distinctive gloves. No one would think that with the entire idea of the criminal mastermind being that he never shows his face, that the movie would find some unique and interesting way to make that a reality. Unfortunately, in this atrocious attempt at a comic book movie, they got a big name star with a big name face to play the man who never shows his face, and Samuel L. Jackson's look went from being non-existent to weird, eccentric, and very, very present. Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk. Hulk is the alter ego of Bruce Banner. Hulk appears when this socially and emotionally reserved physicist is under severe emotional stress. Ever since Banner first transformed after being caught in the blast of a gamma bomb, the Hulk's anti-hero status has been set in stone. Over the years, there have been countless interpretations of the Hulk, but one of the most memorable happened in the beloved 70s TV world by none other than Lou Ferrigno. Oh Lou, you know we love you, but even you have to admit that in the days before CGI, you look nothing like the Hulk in the comic. You just look like a well-built dude painted green. We respect the performance, but have to call out the fact that you look literally nothing like the huge, bulging monster with a tiny head that is completely unable to control his temper and loves to smash. As CGI has improved, so has the transformation of the Hulk. And while we hold fond memories of the past, there's no denying that if you want to stay true to the imagination of Marvel creator Stan Lee's visions, then CGI is the way to go. That's our list of 10 superheroes and villains who look nothing like they do in the comics. Are there any we missed? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fun videos like this one.